Hi, my name is Busola, and I would love to quickly share my fertility story. This is just to encourage someone out there, to let you know that you're not alone. Infertility affects 1 in 6 people, 1 in 6 couples. And so if you look at that statistics against the world population, you see that you are not alone. So quickly getting into the story, I got married over a decade ago, and my husband and I decided that let's spend the first year of our marriage knowing each other, understanding each other. Not like you get to know everything about your partner in 1 year, but it was just the start. And so, yeah, we got it done. Then when we're now ready to have kids, we felt it was going to be easy. Particularly for me, I grew up with the mindset that we're fertile in our home. That was the story I heard over and over again. We're fertile in our home. So I felt like, oh, it's not going to be difficult. We're ready. Yeah, we do what is needed, and then we get pregnant. But amazingly, it didn't happen the way we planned. So the first year went by. The second year, my younger sister got married, and that same year, she got pregnant. And I'm like, okay, God, what's happening to me? Okay, and particularly as Christians, you begin to doubt your Christian faith, you begin to doubt your walk with God, and you are wondering, is God still in the business of doing miracles, right? And I had all sorts of emotional, it was a cycle, so the highs and the lows, I experienced all of that, the denial and everything, because this went on for 7 years, 7 years. Right. Okay, let me get back to the story. So prior to getting married, the year before that, I started working as a trainee clinical embryologist. So for those of you who don't know who clinical embryologists are, we are the scientists in the fertility clinic. We're the one that collect the eggs, and breed them, do put the egg and sperm in the petri dish and culture them, nurture them till they become embryos, and then they are ready to be transferred to the woman. And so, third year into my marriage, my boss was like, "Oh, so I work in the fertility clinic." Shout out to him, Professor Gira Osenge. Shout out to you, sir. And it was like, "You work in a fertility clinic. You can't be in a fertility clinic and you are going through this. That's what we do. We help people have children. So let's see what's going on." And he told me to do, my husband and I, to run some tests, the basic, and it was in that process that we found out that I had multiple pivots, but they were not in any way stopping conception. What it could possibly do was to determine a different pathway for me, or a different route for me to have my babies when I was ready to give birth. But for them to be conceived, no, the fibroid wasn't the issue. And so we're wondering, everything was fine from my husband's side, apart from me, nothing else. My hormones were okay, and so we're wondering. So we kept on trying, it started as a natural cycle. So it started us off on natural cycle, understanding my cycle when I ovulate, my fertile week, and all of that. And that's what got me into fertility awareness methods, which I talk about a lot on my Instagram page, understanding your cycle. And I got to do that, master that, but still it wasn't happening. Long and short, we eventually had to relocate because of my husband's career to pick up as a doctor. So we relocated down to Australia. He went ahead of me, and I joined him I think about 8 or 9 months later. Prior to joining him, I'd already prepped myself. I was like, okay, I'd gotten to that point with my work with God. I was like, okay, this time around that, I'm ready, God, I'm ready to have a child and all of that. So I was assured, I had this assurance that I was going to get pregnant as soon as I met my husband, which I shared with him when I got to Australia. But I was like, no, I'm not ready, because yeah, things were a bit tight, and just settling in a new country, it wasn't what we wanted, right? So we had to take a break, and then, well, respectfully, God honored that, but then again, about I think 6 months or so after that, the conviction was strong again that it's time. Okay. Now I'm not what I'm saying now is that, did I go through the roller coaster of not having kids? My younger sister, before I left Nigeria, she had a second child. So I went through that roller coaster, and being the firstborn, that pressure was there, even though I couldn't put a face to it. And my parents were, yeah, worried, but my in-laws were not, they didn't even really discuss it with me. Anytime my mother-in-law appeared like she was going to bring it up, she was like, don't worry, I'm praying for you guys. It's not, no pressures, So there really wasn't any pressure from my in-laws. My husband was my backbone, was solid with me. He would often tell me, and that's what I think a lot of couples need to know. Your husbands are going through this journey of infertility with you. They might not be crying as much as you are crying. Every time you see a period, you are down, and that's natural. That's valid, right? Because you are disappointed. but your husband is also disappointed when you tell him that you're seeing your period, and he's comforting you the best way he can, but there's no one comforting him, right? So we need to also be there while we are going through that roller coaster of emotions as women. We also need to be there for our husbands and support them, hold their hands, hug them, just know your husband's love language, and apply it at that point in time as you're breaking the news, and both of you heal and work together to move to to try again and hope, for another successful outcome in the next cycle. So that is how it was for us. So prior to getting pregnant, I did what I call fertility affirmations. Since I understood my cycle, I understood my menstrual phase, my follicular phase, I knew my ovulation time, and I knew my luteal phase. I applied fertility affirmations to those phases of my life, coupled with other things that I tell or I teach my clients to do with assurance from God, because I strongly believe that it's time for every human being to surface on this earth is determined by God. There's some supernatural or divine intervention to that, right? And there are cases in the Bible to support that. So I strongly believe that. So why waiting? As a Christian, you're listening to this, you're wondering, you've done everything. It could just be a matter of timing that child that you're expecting, those children that you're expecting, they need to come at a certain time, right? Based on God's master plan. So you just have to wait, patiently wait, and know that God has not forgotten you. And that was it for me. For some other people going through infertility, it could be that God just wants you to learn a lesson. It's we say it in Yoruba land, pé ọmọ tó bá mọ̀wé ló ń pass. So you literally do not graduate to the next class until you have passed the previous class. So it could just be that you need to learn some things, that it's going to elevate you to your next phase of life. And if you have not learned that, you will not move on. And that was it for me as well. I had to pick on that, meditate on that, chew on that before I could move on. For some other people, it could be, if you have a temperament like mine and you're an introvert, it could be that where you are is too stressful and you need to move away. You need to relocate, not necessarily japa, but you might need to move away from that work environment. You might need to tone down on work. You might need to move away from certain people, right? So there are a lot of factors, especially when it comes to unexplained infertility, right? And so that was it for us. I did a lot of, like I said earlier on, fertility affirmations. I worked on my diet, exercises, and all of that. Same with my husband, and you know, I got, which I would not want to share so much right now, but I got divine revelation from God that helped us. And within 3 months of that, I got pregnant. It was so surreal. In fact, my husband was the one that first told me that we saw that you're pregnant. I was like, guy, I beg, no start. Don't just start. you know. So it was when I think I was halfway into my first trimester when I finally settled it in my spirit that, oh, I am actually pregnant. Because by the time your testimony comes, when that baby comes, it will be so, you'll be like, so this is what I've been waiting for years. You'll be like those that were dreaming, right? It's like when the Bible says that the captivity of Zion was turned around. We're like them that dreamt dreams. So that's how it's going to be, so surreal. And I just want to use this story of mine to encourage you that faith without works is dead. Do not say because God has said you have a child, or it has come by prophecy that you are going to have a child, and you just sit back. My husband often says that preparation meets opportunity. So you can't just afford to fold your hands that, God has said it's going to happen. When it's ready, you make it happen. Yes, it's going to make it happen, but it needs you to cooperate with him. And that means you have to look at, okay, what is it that you need to reset in your body to accommodate this precious gift that is coming your way. You can't be drinking 3 cans of Coke in a day and expect your body to, to conceive, to accommodate that. That's, a lot of junk going inside of you. Call it work, man. So you have to, put in the work while you are applying faith in your journey of infertility. So I hope this inspires someone that you are not forgotten, you are not alone. If you need to talk to someone, you need a second opinion, you can send me an email on the fertility educator at protonmail gmail.com, and I would love to talk to you. I offer free calls to people, a 30 minutes free call, just to, they want to talk, they want to know what else to do, they want to see how I can help them. I offer that. So if you fall in that category, my Instagram page is at the Fertility Educator, or Niger Fertility Educator. And yeah, hang in there, do what you're supposed to do, understand your body, understand your menstrual cycle. If you need help with that, reach out to me. Stay healthy, stay optimistic. Bye.